Hi everyone, I'm Dana Shibley with Verifyle. Here are 10 tips in 10 minutes for Verifyle users. If you're not familiar at all with Verifyle, then we suggest that you first go to YouTube, type in Verifyle Overview, and watch either the quick 8-minute overview video of Verifyle or the detailed 59-minute video. All of you as VSTAP members should know that you get access to the premium version of Verifyle, which is Verifyle Pro, at no charge to you or anyone at all with whom you'd like to share information. Tip number 1, raise your situational awareness by using timing indicators. Here you can see that I'm working inside of the WORKSPACE thread called Tax Planning. This WORKSPACE thread is inside the workspace called Client Christine Carson. In this WORKSPACE thread, I'm communicating with Sammy Spouse and Christine Carson. If I click on Sammy Spouse's name, I can see that he has not yet viewed the content inside of this WORKSPACE thread. However, if I click on Christine Carson's name, I can see that she last viewed this content on Wednesday, February 5th at 8:22 a.m. Similarly, if I go over to the Documents column and hover over a particular document, then click on the gear, and then click on View History, I can see that Sammy Spouse has not yet viewed this particular document, 1099 Div, but Christine Carson has looked at it 6 times. If I click here, I can see the exact dates and times that Christine Carson has looked at this document, giving me a sense for the intensity of her interest in this particular document, and also perhaps a sense for how fresh this information might be in her mind. Tip number 2, when to use private messages versus workspace threads. If I click on the Contacts tab, I can see my entire list of contacts inside of Verifyle. If I click on any single one of those contacts, for example, Christine Carson, instantly a private messages area opens up between me and Christine Carson. This is a very quick, easy way to have a secure one-to-one communication with any of my contacts. But the nice thing is that private messages are not only accessible from inside of the Contacts tab, I can also access them from inside of Workspaces. Now in the Workspaces area, I'm going to click on this particular workspace, Client Christine Carson. And inside of this workspace, you can see that I've got a couple of workspace threads. One of those workspace threads is estate planning. And if you look carefully here, you can see that in the estate planning workspace thread, I'm communicating with Christine Carson, Lisa Lawyer, and Sammy Spouse. Because Christine Carson is one of the people that I'm communicating with inside of this workspace, Client Christine Carson, the Verifyle system automatically adds Christine's name to the guests area inside of this workspace, so that anytime I want to, I can click here, and there again is the private messages area between me and just Christine Carson. Very convenient for me. However, the reason that I started working inside of this workspace, Client Christine Carson, in the first place was so that I could take advantage of the capabilities that I get inside of workspace threads. For example, as I showed you in the estate planning workspace thread, I'm communicating with multiple people at the same time, and I can continue to add additional people to this workspace thread anytime that I would like to. I can also remove people from this workspace thread anytime that I would like. I can also go to any particular document and remove the document if I would like to. And finally, I can add additional topics in the form of workspace threads whenever I would like to this particular workspace. These are all benefits that I get from working inside of the workspace here. Tip number 3, shifting topics. You'll notice that the name of this particular workspace thread is estate planning. However, over dozens of messages or even hundreds of messages back and forth between me and these 3 people here, the topic may begin to drift a little bit. No problem. I just click on the gear symbol here, then I click on Rename Thread. And let's say that the discussion is no longer so much about estate planning as it is about business succession planning. So I might just rename this workspace thread to be succession planning, just like that. Tip number 4, session management. If I go to the top right-hand corner of my screen, click on my name, then click on account settings. On the account settings page, I can scroll down to session management, click, and then I can use this slider right here to indicate to the Verifyle system the amount of time after which, if I have been inactive inside of my Verifyle system, Verifyle will automatically sign me out. So this is a very powerful security feature and particularly useful for those people who might forget to sign out of Verifyle after they're done with using it. Tip number 5, optimize my home screen using sorting capability. On my home screen here, you can see my workspaces listed. I can at any time go over near the top right and click on sort, which allows me to sort those workspaces not only by updated date, recency, but also by, for example, workspace name alphabetical. All right, I'm going to move that back to recency because that's how I like it. I can also click on the contacts tab and I can go over to the sort tab again, and I can sort that list of contacts by first name alphabetical. I can sort it by last name alphabetical. I can sort it by email, and I can also keep it sorted by recency. Tip number 6, I can optimize my home screen by using the archiving capability. Here you can see that I have a project 9195. Let's say that this project is pretty much wrapped up and I don't want it to be right here in my direct line of sight all the time with the other workspaces, the other active workspaces. So all I need to do is click on this gear symbol right here and then click on Archive Workspace. And now the workspace for project 9195 is no longer in this colored active workspace area. However, if I scroll down and click on Archive, there I can see the project 9195 workspace again. And I can click on the gear symbol and unarchive it anytime that I would like to. Tip number 7, storage by using workspace threads. I'm going to go to the workspace client Christine Carson, click on it, and let's say that I'd like to create a place inside of this workspace client Christine Carson where I can put my reference materials that I don't want to share with anyone else, but I want to have here at my fingertips whenever I'm thinking about client Christine Carson and perhaps communicating with her. That's easy enough. I just go to the workspace threads area, click on the plus symbol, and I'm going to create a workspace thread here that I call reference materials, just like that. There it is. And you can see that no guests have access. Why? I don't want any guests to have access. And I'm the host of this workspace. I created it. So I'm going to go down here to the paperclip symbol, click on it, and then I'm going to add a couple of documents in here just for my reference. Why don't we say that I add inspection report and insurance document X. So I drag and drop those in. I click send. And now those two documents are encrypted as they're pulled into the Verifyle system, and they are accessible by only me. These documents are effectively in encrypted, secure storage just for me. The second way that I can store information is by using tip number 8, which is storing information by using a new workspace. Here on my workspaces list, I'm going to go to the workspace tab, click on the plus symbol, and I'm going to type in the workspace name of Family Health Records. And I click OK. There it is, a new workspace called Family Health Records. I click on it, and the Verifyle system is prompting me to add a guest. I'm going to add a number of guests to this workspace, and in fact, those are probably going to be the names of my family members. All right, and then I will also add workspace threads with titles such as annual checkup records. Another workspace thread might be dental records. And as you can imagine, I ultimately end up building out an entire workspace which holds information categorized in different ways just for my family. Tip number 9, Here are 3 helpful steps for getting started with Verifyle if you haven't already done so. A, bulk upload your contacts. You can do that by clicking on the Contacts tab, then clicking on the plus symbol, and instead of typing in your contact's name and information individually, use the bulk import feature, which utilizes the CSV file format to upload contact information from any other software system into your Verifyle system. If you need some help with that, you can go to YouTube and type in Verifyle contacts, where you'll find a nice mini tutorial video that will show you exactly how to do that. B, send a regular old-fashioned email to your clients, letting them know that from this point forward, you will be communicating with them inside of Verifyle so that their information is safe and secure. C, put something inside of Verifyle for each of your clients, because that automatically triggers an email alert to each of them, which gives them an immediate and simple way to access Verifyle without having to go through an onerous setup process of any kind. And once they're in Verifyle, then they will receive a warm welcome in the form of the welcome message that you put inside of Verifyle for them, as well as any other content that you might have put inside of Verifyle. What people don't like to do is go into a new system and find that there's no information at all waiting there for them. And finally, tip number 10, don't put all of your clients in a single workspace. We found from working with many people in your industry that best practice for using Verifyle is to have a separate single workspace for each of your clients. So those are your 10 tips. Thank you.